Hi everyone, this lesson is a continuation of chemical reaction calculations, but we are focusing on neutralization reaction, the reaction between alkaline and acid. So let's look at this statement. It says a certain amount of sodium hydroxide is neutralized by a certain amount of hydrochloric acid. So let's have the equation. By looking at the equation, the ratio of sodium hydroxide and HCl is 1 to 1. And we just want to verify this statement. So to find the number of mole, we multiply concentration with volume, but we need to change the volume to dm cube. We can do it like this. So the number of moles of sodium hydroxide is 0.025 mole, and the number of moles of HCl is also the same. Alright, so that's how we check whether this statement is correct. So just another example, potassium hydroxide reacts with sulfuric acid, but in this case the ratio is not 1 to 1. The ratio of potassium hydroxide to sulfuric acid is 2 to 1. So let's just check with this calculation. The number of mole of potassium hydroxide is 0.05 mole, and the number of mole of H2SO4 is 0.025. So the ratio is 2 to 1. Right, so I would like you to bear this in mind. This is just to help you understand how we carry out calculations for neutralization. So the next two examples, they will be different. So example 3, the chemical reaction is similar. So it's HCl reacts with sodium hydroxide and NaOH. The ratio is 1 to 1. And now there's one information missing, which is the concentration. So we want to find the concentration of HCl, but we know the volume of HCl. So we can find the number of mole of sodium hydroxide first. So the number of mole is 0.25 mole for sodium hydroxide, and we can just compare the ratio. It is 1 to 1. So the number of mole of HCl should be 0.25 mole, and now we have the volume, so we can find the concentration. Change this volume to dm cube, and we just divide by volume. We'll get the concentration, which is 0.5 mole per dm cube. So this is an example of one information is missing, that we can find it by comparing the mole. So the next example, we are to find the volume of a certain concentration of sodium hydroxide solution that is required to neutralize 50 cm cube of 1 mole per dm cube sulfuric acid. So the working steps are similar. First, we write the chemical equation. Usually will be given. The ratio here is 2 to 1. So let's find the number of mole of HCl first, because volume and concentration is given. So we multiply them together, change the cm cube to dm cube, you will get 0.05 mole of H2SO4. Compare the mole ratio of sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid is 2 to 1, so we have to multiply by 2. So the number of mole of sodium hydroxide is 0.1 mole. And now to find the volume, when we have mole and concentration, we just need to divide the number of mole with concentration. So the volume required is actually 0.1 dm cube or 100 cm cube. So chemical reactions revolves around finding volume or concentration. I would just like to end with this experiment on neutralization. This method we call titration, whereby acid is titrated with alkaline. So the objective of this titration is to determine the amount of alkaline is required to neutralize an acid. So let's look at this in detail. For acid, we place a fixed amount of acid, but the concentration is unknown. For alkaline, the concentration is fixed, but we want to determine the amount of alkaline needed. So after the experiment, we should have the volume of the alkaline, and then we know the concentration of alkaline, and we know the volume of acid, and we can use all the information to find the concentration by using the chemical reaction and to compare the mole. So that's all for today's lesson on calculations for neutralization.